I failed at over 68 different ventures before I made my first six figures. In this video, I'm going to break down the biggest mistakes that I made so I can save you guys 8 years worth of trial and error. And those big mistakes are being the following: trying to please everyone instead of focusing on a specific problem for a specific group of individuals, focusing more on potential-based projects and potential-based partnerships as opposed to already focusing on existing revenue-generating activities. Lacking the self-awareness, and I shouldn't have been hanging out with some of the people that I should have been. Last but certainly not least, and probably the most important, was spreading myself way too thin. Saying all that, I never really considered myself to be quote-unquote talented or really gifted growing up. As you can see here, here's a photo of me and my siblings growing up here. I'm the one in the middle, in case you couldn't tell. Not really much has changed. And what I realized growing up was I was incredibly focused and incredibly disciplined, and I worked very hard in things that I was interested in. Whether that be learning how to play the drums, whether that learning a new magic trick or a new sleight of hand piece that I could show someone, or maybe that's hosting or throwing a party or an event. A lot of those things I did throughout elementary school, high school, university, and I still do some of that till this day, just not probably as much as I did when I was growing up. So if you ask me what's one of the most valuable things that I've learned after failing at all these different ventures, I would tell you this: it's my ability to be adaptable and to develop resiliency. The ability to show up in the face of adversity is why entrepreneurs win. After not getting the results that I wanted, after losing tens of thousands of dollars in bad business decisions, after losing so many friendships and business relationships, I realized that being resilient is one of the core ingredients for entrepreneurship if you really want to make this happen. But after going through that entire journey, that's what's brought me here today. And that's what I like to call my version of quote unquote success. So in this video, you're going to learn why people don't move past their first failure, how to rewire your brain so you can become proactive instead of reactive, the mindset shift and the step-by-step process on how to tackle any difficult situation at hand, and how you can recognize how it's time to pivot from what you've always done to what you were meant to do. Before I dive into this video, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Matt Anthony. I'm a creative entrepreneur and digital middleman from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, and I connect amazing service providers with amazing clients to get them their dream outcome. I currently have affiliate and equity partnerships in more than 5 six-figure generating offers. So if you're a business owner that wants to get a little bit more educated in this whole marketing space, or if you're someone that wants to start a business by selling one of these already proven offers, then go ahead and click the link in the description below. Let's get connected and see how I can best help you. So grab that cup of coffee, grab that notepad, and let's dive into the video. When it comes to failing, I developed a mindset where I believe it is 100% okay to fail. And in some cases, I actually encourage it because it forces me to level up and to focus on things on what I can do differently in order to get the best results moving forward. I also have no problem being embarrassed and really showcasing anything that I do. This is one of the reasons why I really wanted to get into YouTube, because I feel like I have so many crazy stories when it comes to business, life, traveling, relationships, that I feel like if I can sit here and talk with you and you guys can genuinely feel my passion and connect with my story, I feel like we can develop a really great relationship. Who knows, maybe it'll inspire some of you guys along the way to start a business or go ahead and tackle that goal that you've always wanted to do. So from what I've seen from over the years is that when people get first exposed to failure and maybe failing at something big, and I'm going to share a really quick story on what had happened to me, and what I notice is that when people fail and when they go to try again, is they get stuck in this analysis paralysis where they're just constantly overthinking. When you're overthinking, just like this gentleman in this photo here, you do one of the most detrimental things that you can do to yourself, and that is you don't take any action. You just get lost in your thoughts. So when you get lost in your thoughts and you don't actually do anything tangible, right, to fix or address the problem as to what's going inside your head, that's one of the most terrible things that you can do, period, point blank. That is the only thing that 100% guarantees you that nothing will happen. There's a saying that if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if all you're doing is sitting and focusing on what had happened inside your mind, and you don't take some form of proactive next step to do that, which brings me to my next point, you're just going to be stuck in this overthinking, depressive state. And I think we can all agree that none of us want that. And we know that we're capable of more. I'll tell you the story of how I was working with two restaurants, okay? I was working with two restaurants, and what had happened was I put my account manager in a position of power to go ahead and manage their accounts, okay? We got a request from one of the clients saying, hey, can you go ahead and change this photo to this, this, and this? I go ahead, relay that information to my project manager. He went ahead and executed it. Turns out it wasn't actually the right photo or description that the company wanted. And now before in the past, he posted the wrong person's content on the opposite accounts, right? So obviously if you run a social media marketing business, or if you post one client's account on another client's account, that's obviously an extremely bad look. And what had happened was that was the final straw. I think that was probably like the fourth time that mess up happened. And I got a phone call saying that, Matt, this is very careless. This is lack of attention to detail. We're unfortunately going to have to let you go. So when that happened, that really stung. That really hurt with me. And it comes this balance of, do I be a quote unquote good boss and give more chances? Or do I address the situation because it affected my reputation and the bottom line and some of the growth aspects when it comes to the business? So when tough decisions like that happen, I have to go ahead and make sure that me as the leader, as the person who's orchestrating and fulfilling all these things, that is the most important thing, which is the relationship with the client and delivering the results. And because I put that person in a position of power, that is ultimately 100% and entirely my fault. And I'm not going to lie, that firing really stung because, one, I love their food, and two, I had such a great relationship. And I still do, but not nearly as close as we were, just given the entire circumstances with everything. And that brings me to my next point. I can handle this situation in one or two ways. I can either, one, become reactive and let the situation control me, and I can overthink, get stuck in analysis paralysis, and not take any action. Or two, I can be proactive and I can take control of the situation, and I can go ahead and implement fast action to do something to help rectify the situation at hand. That's exactly what I did. I was proactive, I took control of the situation, and I made sure that they knew that I was there for them with anything that they needed. And shortly after this incident happened, I actually ended up joining a large-scale mentorship program called Agency Lab, which was run by this gentleman by the name of Joel Kaplan. Here in Agency Lab is really where I met a lot of my business partners that I still do business, and we own businesses till this day. Joel has scaled multiple businesses to 6 figures and 7 figures, and I do believe 8 figures plus per year in annual ARR, and I learned a lot from him. I learned how to become a better marketer, I learned how to become a better entrepreneur, and I learned how to better structure my overall self to focus on who I service and what that looks like. So I remember when we first got acquainted and we were on a group call and it was my turn to go ahead and ask a question. And I asked Joel a question about failure and how to kind of level up based on the failure that has happened. Paraphrasing this right now, but it was something along the lines of, how do you know when to adapt from failure to get to those big revenue generating months? It was something like that. And I remember he told me this. In order for you to level up to where you want to go and where you want to grow from, you have to grow from your failures, and your mindset has to grow before you do. If you want to be a 7-figure entrepreneur, you have to become a 7-figure human, both physically and mentally. It all starts in the mind. So when he first said that to me, I was like, okay, you know what? That really makes a lot of sense. So what I try and do now and adapt things from is I try to look at things from the perspective of a 7-figure human being, right? What would a 7-figure human being do or proactively react in this type of situation? After that conversation happened, the light bulb kind of went off, and I kind of took what he said and expanded upon that to help me in any sort of difficult situation, which here is that process right here. So I ask myself, these questions. Is it going to matter tomorrow? Is it going to matter in a week, in a month, in 6 months, or a year from now? If it's not going to matter in a year, I won't put any effort into thinking about it because there's literally no point, right? If it's not going to affect you for the next 12 calendar months or even 6 months, should you really be spending your mental energy focused on that? The other questions I ask myself when it comes to a failure or a difficult situation is, was there anything I could have done to improve or help the situation based on things that I can control? If the answer is yes, then I sit down and I digest and I reflect and I take ownership and accountability to see what I could have done to help improve the situation. And if I do come up with some sort of proactive answer, I make sure to never make the same mistake twice. Okay to make a mistake, but it's not okay to make the same mistake twice. And lastly, the third and final question that I ask in sort of a difficult, when I'm faced with adversity in a difficult situation, is how can I immediately improve the situation by taking some form of immediate and impactful action? I rationalize this thinking based on dates and quantifiable timelines by the lessons I've learned and the things that I could and could not control. Because in the end, all these failures and all the things that we go through, they're not necessarily failures. They're lessons, and they're here to teach us something. I'm not too sure what everyone's beliefs are when it comes to spirituality or the universe or God or whatever that looks like for you. But I'm a huge believer in the energy that you put out is the energy that you receive back. So after going through Joel's program and networking with a bunch of individuals and implementing these new systems that I've learned for my marketing agency, my revenue for my business did double. And it doubled not just for like 1 or 2 months, it like doubled for a consistent year. But then after that year, something happened. And this brings me to my final point of recognizing when it's time to pivot from what you've always done to what you were meant to do. The thing I've noticed is that I found myself in the right rooms with the right people, attracting opportunities that I didn't think were possible at that age, looking back on it, that I thought was actually like feasible or going to happen, if that makes sense. I found myself talking with people who have millions and millions of dollars. I found myself talking with people who have millions and millions of followers. And what had happened is, fast forward, is one of my first big deals that I got, I started working with a creator that just had over 1.5 million followers at the time. And she approached me and said literally this. Keep in mind, I wasn't going out and looking for clients to be their agent or to help middleman some of their deals. This opportunity came to me. And she said to me that, Matt, I don't know what it is about you. All I know is that I trust you 100%, and I feel like you're going to do what you say you do, and you're going to get me deals. And that was it. And I think the vibe and the reason why that she said all these things is because I'm a very genuine person when it comes to being fully transparent in terms of my capabilities. If I say I can do something, I feel very confident that I can, and I feel 100% confident that I know that I can't do certain things. And I think when you speak with that level of confidence and tenacity and grit, that people take a liking to that because, like I said, I wasn't looking to get a client. I just happened to find myself in some right rooms, having some right conversations, being myself, and then all of a sudden that opportunity got sprungboard to me. And little did I know after that that conversation would open up the floodgates from what I would be doing right now. Now I work with people who have millions and millions of followers, professional athletes, reality TV stars, people that I grew up watching on TV. I can now text or call them at my leisure, and it's just so wild to think about. It's just like, man, is this really my life right now? You know, it's so unbelievable in a lot of ways where you think that your life is going to go in this direction, right? You know, did I think I was going to run a marketing agency forever? I don't know. Did I think I was going to have a talent roster with over 35 million combined followers and develop that over the course of 2 years? No. I didn't know what was going to happen, but through the universe and being at the right place at the right time, things happen. I think one of the things that allowed for this to happen is my internal openness, where I'm not shut off or jaded or closed off to any sort of opportunity. I'm open to whatever the universe provides me. Even recognizing that I know that I can run social media campaigns, do this type of ad campaign, help launch this creative, that's all great. But I think I know what I'm destined to do. And I don't think it's to be a social media manager. I think I'm built and put on this earth to connect people and to create revenue generating streams of income for a whole boatload of people. Because people often think, right, if you're the middleman or if you're the agent, right, you're actually probably the most important person in the room. Because these people who are the people of influence and the people of power and people that want to work with them, you're that bridge in the middle to help facilitate however that kind of works. So you can leverage them and then go ahead and execute on things that you see fit in order to help elevate their entire brand. I didn't realize that communication is a real life superpower until my later years in life. And I know 100% that if someone knows, likes, and trusts you, they're more willing to buy or to work with whatever it is that you do or that you offer. Think by having people know, like, and trust you, you're literally creating a trifecta for your own personal success. You can call me an agent, a middleman, an industry dot connector, whatever it is that you will, but trust me when I say this. If you are genuine with your communication, if you are genuine with your messaging and how you make people feel, the universe will reward you. I promise you. And who knows? Maybe you'll generate your first 6 figures online by connecting the dots with the right people, the right brands, and the right opportunities. It worked for me, and I think maybe it can work for you too. If you're someone that wants to start their own agency, or you want to team up with me and one of my partnered offers selling digital and AI services to various businesses and personal brands, go ahead and click the link in the description below. We'll get connected and I'll see how I can best serve you. Thank you so much for being here. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does mean the world. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.